First up, we have the Canadiens Maple Leafs for Game 5. Toronto up 3-1. Looking to close out the series. Jeff, who's your favorite DFS play from this one?
I'll go with William Nylander, goal in each of the series thus far. I mean, he's just such an easy stack with Alexander Kerfoot, assuming that line gets put together again tonight, which is most likely is going to be. Obviously, Austin Matthews is a fine pay-up option, but I think everyone on a two-game slate is going to be doing that. So, I'm not saying you have to fade Matthews, but I like Nylander again, saving a lot of money by going with that second line stack.
Paul, your favorite DFS play?
I'm going to give you two. Mitch Marner is getting more ice time than any forward in this series, Jesse, and he has yet to have a breakout game. He will be heard from tonight. He's the most expensive forward on the board when you're not talking about the centerman that was just mentioned, $7,900 his price tag, but this is a spot that makes sense. The local boy will want to have a say in booting the arch rivals from the playoffs. Similarly, former Canadiens winger Alex Galchenyuk is coming off a three-point night and has to be feeling good about himself too. I'm a bit surprised that he's priced at only $3,400 tonight. That's a pretty nice high-low pairing that'll bring down your average cost per player, so I'm looking at the two of them.
AJ, who are you looking at?
It's got to be Jack Campbell, right? I mean, the guy's riding a 3-game winning streak, during which he's given up just 2 goals on 84 shots. That's a .976 save percentage. That includes Tuesday's Game 4 shutout. Look, I know he's not going to be cheap, but if he puts together another 1-goal performance or even another shutout, then he has to fit in your lineup, absolutely. And I'll be paying up for him on the single-game slate to captain him at 15-3 for the price tag there. That's still $1,800 cheaper than Austin Matthews, and I think he's the go-to captain, in my book at least, for single game tonight.
Well, Leafs are heavy favorites here, -235 on the money line. Game total set at 5.5. What's your favorite bet from this one, Paul?
First of all, I got to say I'm thrilled that the two boys are on the Leaf bandwagon here tonight. I'm loving that.
Plenty of room.
I think I take the over tonight, Jesse. Leafs have had an edge in quality chances in both away games, and that disparity will grow even larger when they can't keep the big boy. They can keep the big boys away from the top checking and shutdown pairs that the Habs will throw out in tonight's home start, thanks to the last line change. I caught myself laughing a little during games 3 and 4, actually, when they trapped the Canadiens in their own end for about 10 straight passes while the defenders had to drag their tongues off the ice a few times in these games. I think you're looking at a final score of 4 or 5-2 to claim your winning bet here as I look at the over.
AJ, your favorite bet?
Well, I'm going to avoid the money line and puck line over under tonight, taking some alternate looks here. I like the team totals in this one for the Habs to score under 1.5 goals, which comes in at +170. That's, on the back of that Jack Campbell recommendation there. If you really want to go all in on the shutout, you can take the Leafs to win without conceding a goal in regulation at +650. I think that's great value for something that, honest to goodness, could really happen here. If you want to go player props outside of Campbell, you could look to Austin Matthews at 2+ points for +150 as well here.
Jeff, what do you think? Are you looking at the money line or the game total?
I like all these recommendations, quite frankly. I was just looking up the shutout odds as AJ was speaking there, but I think the best bet for me would just be to go to alternate puck line, because I'm not sure, do we really want to trust the Canadiens to get 2 goals here to hit the over? I'm not sure. I think I would just go to the Leafs -2.5, which is +210 right now. I think, if the Canadiens are down, they're going to be pulling their goalie with 5 minutes left. You could get a couple empty net goals easily in this situation. It could also just be they're down 4-0 going into the third period. So I really like Campbell tonight. I think he's going to have another strong game. I like going to the alternate puck line if you're looking for bigger odds on the Leafs tonight.
All right, well, second game tonight is Game 6 between the Hurricanes and Predators. Carolina up 3-2, looking to close out. AJ, who you riding with in your DFS lineups here?
On Tuesday, I talked up Sebastian Aho, and I still believe in him for tonight's slate as well. He put up 7 shots in those last 2 games where he doesn't have any points. He dished out an impressive 5 hits in Game 5. Look, on the year, he's only gone more than 2 games without a point twice this season. And the mini slump here just means you don't have to pay over $10K for him in the showdown slate unless you want to pay up big and captain for him at 14-7, which I think is probably the best option here, at least for me.
Jeff, where are you going?
I think Dougie Hamilton is just a guy you should really be paying up for on this slate. There's just such a big discrepancy. You can make a case for Roman Josi too, I guess, who's a little bit cheaper. But again, this is a Canes power play. It was one of the best in the league during the regular season. They really haven't done much in this series. But with the way Nashville's coming in after such a brutal way to lose in Game 5, you kind of feel like Carolina just might get off the snide here and put a couple in on the man advantage. So Dougie Hamilton's playing ton of minutes. He's averaging over 5 shots on goal in this series. And again, paying down for defensemen, like the production discrepancy between Hamilton and the rest of the guys, it's just too big to ignore. So I would really try and pay up for him. And the nice thing about Carolina, they're deep, so you can stack him with some of those cheaper wingers if you want.
Paul, what do you think? Who you riding with in your DFS lineup?
Well, in DFS, you got to be different in the nets. And the guys are telling you that Jack Campbell is going to be the heavily owned goalie. So I'm going to go to this game to find my keeper. I'm going to go with a similar strategy that I used last night, Jesse, when I stacked the Minnesota Wild in a tournament play that worked out very well around Cam Talbot recording a shutout win in Vegas. I have no doubt that this will be a high volume game for Saros in terms of shots on goal. But just as in the 2 prior home games in Music City, the home side will score enough to win another shootout. I'll plug the Preds goalie in at $7,800 tonight and hope that he allows 2 or less for a nice game score in a bit of a contrarian play.
All right, this one's a little closer. Carolina only favored by -141 on the money line. Total here is also 5.5. So can you give us a favorite bet from this game, Geoff?
I just like going with the favorites tonight. I really do. I mean, the money line here on Carolina to me is -141. It's just not giving them enough respect. This is a team that's, the top 3 in terms of expected goal rate, even strength in the series. And look, they're up 3-2 and they really haven't done anything with the man advantage, like I said. So I do like them to score a bunch of goals tonight. I think there will be a few more goals in the series. So I like Carolina and the over tonight. Just make it simple and, take what's given to you, because I think that line on Carolina is pretty given.
Paul, what do you think?
I think these teams combined to go over the number in games 3 and 4, Jesse, and Nashville. And I'm expecting more of the same, as I don't see the Canes deviating from their run and gun and shoot from anywhere style. And we've seen that the Preds are quite capable of counterpunching, which has resulted in some of the best working weeks from guys like Duchesne and Johansson. That combination of factors will easily top the OU line again tonight.
AJ, your favorite bet?
I'm looking at some series lines tonight because I think this is going to go to game 7 here. If we learned anything from last night's abomination in Long Island, it's that the home crowd getting behind a team can really fire things up. It's something the players aren't used to hearing for most of the season, and it's going to be a madhouse in Bridgestone Arena tonight. So I've got the Hurricanes to still win the series 4-3. You can get that at +250 on the DK Sportsbook. You can get total games played at over 6.5 at +130. Obviously, if I think we're going to 7 games here, that means Nashville to win tonight. You can get them on the money line at +123 and just stack your way all the way through this one.
Yeah, AJ, you called it. You knew exactly what was going to happen in the Coliseum. Sorry. RIP. RIP. All right, finally, we're going to dive more into this one tomorrow, but we got a game 7 between the Wild and Golden Knights coming up on Friday. So, Paul, let's just get your initial take. Who's moving on?
You know what? This is going to be a close game, Jesse, and I think an easy one to make a strong case for either side. We know that the Vegas team was the dominant club in their regular season series and at the top of the regular season standings with Colorado. I think they've missed Max Pacioretty big time, and a couple other guys as well. And I don't know how effective he would be, even if he draws into the lineup for Game 7. The Preds, on the other hand, have dominated the shot clock in a few of these playoff games and got great goaltending from Talbot and a couple of others. So, they're feeling pretty good about themselves too. And I call this one a coin flip, and I think I just made the case for Minnesota to win tomorrow.
All right, AJ, who you making a case for?
I'm going to go with VGK on this one, sticking with it. The one thing I will say is I am not as confident as I have been the last few days that we're going to see Fleury close this one out. Look, overall, I think the lack of offensive support is what sank the Knights in the last 2 games. Paul mentioned not having Max Pacioretty. But ultimately, Fleury needs to be better than 6 goals allowed in the last 2 games, especially when you're only facing 13 shots in that one contest. I look for Robin Leonard to come in tomorrow night and close this bad boy out for the Knights.
All right, Geoff, what do you think?
I mean, this series has been giving me headaches all day. I mean, it's one team gets 13 shots on net and win, and then the next game they get 40 shots and lose. So I think you just roll with the underdog here because you're getting pretty nice odds on Minnesota. Minnesota's been a scrappy team all year. I think they absolutely have a bit of a skill advantage with Max Pacioretty out. And I think Talbot has been the best goalie in this series. I don't like the idea of Leonard coming in and just trying to steal one after not playing for so long. He can do it, but I would rather ride with the plus money you're getting here on the Wild.